Chapter 1. The Red-Nosed Warning. I always hated clowns. Not just in the way that most kids do, because they're creepy, or because of that one time at a birthday party when a clown popped a balloon too close to my ear. No, I hated clowns in the way someone hates something that's followed them their whole life. That's right, followed. Because ever since I was 5, they've never really left me alone. It all started the night my sister disappeared. We lived in a small town called Eldergrove, one of those places that barely shows up on a map and disappears under a blanket of fog more often than not. Our house sat near the edge of the woods, where trees pressed in too tightly and the wind always sounded like it was whispering secrets. That night, I was supposed to be asleep, but I heard her laugh. Not my sister's laugh. Something else. Something wrong. High-pitched, broken, and echoing like it came from inside a metal pipe. Then came the music, faint calliope tunes drifting in from the forest. My sister, Clara, had always been braver than me. She thought it was a game. I watched her from my window as she tiptoed toward the trees in her pajamas, chasing the laughter. She never came back. No one believed me. They said she ran away. But I knew better. I saw something under the trees, something pale, with a red smile and glowing yellow eyes. That was 6 years ago. Now I'm 11, and the clowns are back. It started with the drawings. I'd wake up in the morning and find crayon sketches on my desk. Always of clowns. Sad ones, happy ones, angry ones. Some were missing eyes. One had no mouth. They weren't mine. I swear I didn't draw them, but Mom thought I did. Then came the notes. Come play, they said. Always written in thick red marker. Sometimes they'd be folded into my homework, other times slipped into my backpack. Once, I found one inside the fridge, tucked between the milk and the eggs. And last night, I heard the music again. The same haunting calliope tune, soft and broken like it was played by rusted instruments. I pressed my ear to the window and felt the chill seep into my bones. Down by the edge of the woods, I saw something move. A flicker of white and red. A balloon drifted upward through the trees. They were calling me, and something deep inside told me this time, I'd have to answer. Chapter 2. Footsteps in the fog. The next morning, I found footprints. Not normal ones. They were small, child-sized, but with something off about them. The toes were too long, and the heel too narrow, almost like someone had painted clown shoes onto human feet. They led from the edge of the woods right up to my bedroom window. I stared at them for a long time, heart thudding against my ribs. The grass was still wet from the night dew, and the footprints shimmered slightly, like they were made of ash and glitter. Elliot, what are you doing out there? My mom called from the kitchen. Nothing, Elite. I didn't tell her about the footprints. She wouldn't believe me, just like no one believed me about Clara. At school, things weren't much better. Kids laughed when I told them what I saw. My best friend, Mason, tried to pretend like he didn't think I was crazy, but even he gave me that look sometimes, the one people give when they think you're about to lose it. But that day, something changed. During lunch, I opened my backpack to grab my notebook and found another drawing. This one was different. It showed a clown standing under a streetlight, grinning. Behind him was a shadow, tall and twisted, with fingers that reached down to the ground. Written at the bottom in smeared red crayon were the words, "Tonight, come alone." I looked up and scanned the cafeteria. No one seemed to be paying attention to me. No creepy kid watching from the corner. No suspicious teachers hovering nearby. Just the usual noise and chaos. But I felt it, eyes on me. That night, I waited until everyone was asleep. I packed a flashlight, my pocket knife, the one Dad gave me before he left, and the drawing. I didn't know why I brought it. Maybe I thought it was a map. Maybe I just needed something to hold on to. At 1:07 a.m., I slipped out the back door. The woods were darker than I remembered. The flashlight beam cut through the fog in patches, but it barely helped. Every branch looked like a hand. Every rustle felt like a whisper. Then I heard the footsteps. Soft, padding through the underbrush. Too light to be an adult. Too slow to be a deer. I stopped. So did the footsteps. I took another step. So did they. Then something giggled. High-pitched, like a child. I turned around, shining the light in every direction. Nothing. Just trees and fog. Then, from behind a trunk about 10 feet away, a balloon floated out. Red, perfectly round, and tied to the end was a note. I see you. I didn't scream. I should have, but I didn't. Instead, I turned off the flashlight and stood there in the dark, trying to hear past the thump of my own heart. And that's when I saw him. A figure in the fog, too tall, with arms that hung too low, wearing something striped, and smiling. Chapter 3. The Mannequin Smile. I couldn't move. The figure in the fog stood still as stone. I tried to tell myself it was a trick of the light, some weird shadow, maybe even a tree. But trees didn't grin, and trees didn't raise a hand and wave. That's what it did. A slow, puppet-like wave. Up, down, up again. Then it took a step forward. I turned and ran. I didn't care about the flashlight. I dropped it somewhere behind me. I didn't care about being quiet. Every branch I snapped, every leaf I crunched felt like a scream in the dark. I didn't stop until I reached the edge of the woods. When I finally looked back, the fog had swallowed everything. No footsteps behind me. No movement. But the balloon was gone. So was the note. The next day, I skipped school. Faked a stomach bug. Mom barely noticed. She was too busy on her phone, half listening. That's been the way things are since Clara disappeared. It's like she's afraid to really look at me. Like I remind her of what's gone. I stayed in my room, windows locked, curtains drawn. But around noon, I heard something outside. I peeked through a crack in the curtain. Someone had tied a red balloon to our mailbox. It bobbed slowly in the breeze. I ran downstairs and yanked it free. It popped in my hand, but instead of rubber shreds falling to the ground, something dropped out of it. A piece of folded paper. Another drawing. This one was of me, standing at the window, looking out. Behind me, in the sketch, was a clown, his face pressed to the glass. I spun around. Nothing, but I didn't feel alone. That night, Mason came over. I didn't tell him everything, but I showed him the drawings. He laughed at first, said it was a prank, that someone at school was messing with me. But when I showed him the one with the clown behind me, his smile faded. You didn't draw these? He asked quietly. No. He flipped through them again. Some of these are detailed, like creepy good. You sure this isn't your sister's old stuff? No, I said. These are new. We were both quiet for a moment. Then he said something that made my stomach drop. You ever heard of the laughing ones? I shook my head. He glanced toward the window, like he was afraid someone might be listening. My cousin lives up near the reservation. He told me this story once, about spirits that take the shape of clowns. Not the funny kind, the hungry kind. They show up to kids, leave signs, notes, balloons. My mouth was dry. What do they want? He looked at me. To play. Later that night, I found another note. It was under my pillow. This one had only 3 words, written in huge red letters. Bring a friend.